what I'm looking at is where I see momentum for the fourth quarter. And the fourth quarter is on track to grow more than 7% at an annual rate, with stronger housing starts, stronger exports, and a resumption in really strong growth in consumer goods, which has been a red hot sector and really the source of the inflationary pressure that we've seen. The composition of consumer spending has been crazy. Look, there's a lot to like about this recovery, but we need consumer spending to pivot back towards services and give the goods sector a break. And we need to get people back to work. And both of those changes depend on getting the pandemic under control. The pandemic is everything.
Hey, Doug, that's the case. We keep thinking we get things under control, and then it turns out there's another wave of this left to go. I feel like we haven't prepared ourselves very well, especially when you look at how hard it is to get testing right now. What do you think?
Well, I think that what we've learned is that with each successive wave, we've had less economic impact because we have, in fact, made advances on vaccines and boosters, and therapeutics are coming online, and the testing. But we are far from, I think, doing an excellent job on the public health front. I think the testing's a year overdue. We should have had a large-scale effort to do rapid testing for detecting infectious individuals, and that would take a lot of the fear people have out of participating in the economy. That would balance consumer spending. You could go do leisure hospitality and other services, and you can get some people back to work. So we have a lot of work to do in the public health front, and that is the key to not having the very strong private sector get derailed in 2022.
So, Doug, what do you think we're looking at, or what we should be considering for the first quarter?
Oh, I think we'll come out of I'm with Wendy on the fourth quarter. It's very strong right now. All the real-time indicators show that. I think we'll start the first quarter in something like 5 or 6, and I'm looking at 4 to 5% real growth over the whole year. But the main challenge will be, can we have that and have an effective fight against inflation? And the big risk I see in 2022 is policy errors that come from making aggressive attempts to get inflation under control.
You think it would be a mistake to try and get inflation under control? Why is that?
Well, the question is, how fast do you want to do it? We could stop inflation tomorrow if we wanted to have a big middle-class tax increase and put rates at about 5%. But no one wants to deal with the downside of that. So how aggressively do we go after inflation? And that's very hard to judge right now because we don't really know what the supply side looks like. And in particular, we don't know if the sort of 2.5 million women who dropped out of the labor force are coming back. If they do, there's a lot more supply. There's a lot less pressure on inflation. You have a lot more room to maneuver. If they don't, things are pretty tight right now, and it's going to be much harder.